Hi you guys, thank you so much for tuning in on this video. As you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I managed to pay off $6,200 in debt. So let's get into it. Disclaimer real quick, I will be looking down because I'll be looking into my laptop. I have some of the numbers and my debt written down on here, and then also I'll be looking into my journal, and this is like my debt tracker, and I'll be sharing this with you guys a little bit later. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go straight into credit cards. I owed $6,500 on one credit card. That was my USAA credit card. I owed $450 on a PayPal credit card. I owed $2,284 on another credit card that was Capital One. And altogether, just in credit card debt, that was $9,234. Like, when I say that number out loud, I'm like, wow. Why was I $9,000 in credit card debt? Like, that's ridiculous. In addition to credit card debt though, I also have student loans. So I have $29,619. So it brings my total debt to $38,853. So for the credit card that has the $6,500, that money, I got that credit card because my dog had surgery. He needed surgery. He jumped on the couch or something, I have no idea. He tore his ACL, and I was like, are you an athlete? Like, why are you tearing your ACL? I took him to the doctor. They told me it would be about $3,000 to get it fixed, and you guys, like, I did not have that money. I just cried like a baby. I had to call my mom for her to talk to the people at the animal hospital because I just could not. Like, I was in tears. I didn't know what to do. So I ended up applying for a credit card to be able to pay for that. I got the credit card. They gave me like such a big allowance because, you know, I had good credit. And from that, yeah, I paid for, I already put like $3,000 up there because that was his surgery. My MacBook broke, so I got a whole brand new MacBook. I put that up there. I don't know, my car got towed, I went shopping. All these irresponsible things that led me up to $6,500 on one credit card. For my PayPal card, that's like the card that you use online, I had got like a ring light and like a camera or something like that like 2 years ago, and I mean, I just was paying it off so slow. And then for my Capital One card, $2,284, that again was, I don't know, shopping. I like bought my couch from IKEA on it, which is a little irresponsible, but it was on sale. I don't know, just little things like that. And so yeah, that got me a total of $9,000 in credit card debt, and of course the $30,000 in student loan debt. Like some of you guys, like I didn't think I had a problem. My credit score was still good. My debt to credit ratio on all my credit cards were good. Even though my balance was high, they weren't maxed out. They weren't close to being maxed out. So I was still walking around with my credit score like, oh yeah, I got a 7 something. Like I'm chilling. Like I didn't think much of it. But the $6,000 credit card was like freaking me out because I was like, oh, that's a lot of money to pay back. Like, why is it so high? And so I just started like Googling like how to pay off credit cards or whatever. And then from that, like I have an addictive personality. When I like learn something about anything, I go all in. So that's what I did. I like went down this rabbit hole of like just being debt free. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, so then I made the decision. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pay this off. I started this journey around December of last year, maybe the last 2 weeks in December. So I worked like a dog. So that was around Christmas time. I did not go home. I always go home for Christmas. I did not go home. I stayed in Los Angeles. I walked dogs. I babysit dogs. I had dogs in my house. Like I was doing anything for money. I was off from my full-time job. I picked up full-time hours at my part-time job. I mean, number one, I got a part-time job. Like I was just really working my behind off. So for those last 2 weeks, I worked my behind off. I was able to pay like $1,000 before even going into January 2020. And I felt like as soon as I saw like how I could just work and pay it off, I was like, I'm doing this, I'm sold. So I really want to share with you guys some tips that I use to get out of debt that I'm really hoping you guys will use, or you'll show someone who wants to get out of debt and this will motivate them a little bit. So Step one, if you go into Google or YouTube or wherever and you put in debt free, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna find Dave Ramsey, and for good reason. For people who don't know who Dave Ramsey is like a financial advisor. He literally shows you step by step how to become a millionaire. And he talks about having like a small emergency fund, taking every single dollar you have extra and putting it towards debt. He tells you to sell everything, get whatever jobs, and just get out of debt as fast as you can. Then he shows you how to invest your money, pay for your college, your kids' college fund, and all types of steps. I highly recommend that you guys check him out. Another thing I did was listen to podcasts. So if I was driving home, if I was commuting anywhere, if I was in my house cleaning, I had on some kind of podcast about money. And so Dave Ramsey also has a podcast about that. I love Dave Ramsey. I'm probably gonna say his name like a million times in here because he is just that awesome. And so that really helped me because when you're just learning about money or hearing about money, it just starts to be like the main conversation. So another thing I did was I worked my behind off. I got 3 jobs. I worked every single day of the week, no days off. Sometimes I worked twice a day. And there were sacrifices in that as far as, like, sometimes I didn't go with my friends, or if I did go out, I wouldn't buy anything to drink. I did not get on social media because I honestly didn't have the time. I was working 3 jobs, and then I had started taking classes to be like a life coach. That's coming up. But I didn't have time. Like, I worked 3 jobs. And so from that, like, it gave me less time. I wasn't in Target. I wasn't in Home Goods. So I was really focused on going to work, making the money, coming back, paying off debt. Something else I did is I wrote a detailed budget. So I have this handy dandy like journal. And in the journal, in the back of it, I wrote a budget for like each month, and I followed it to the T. And when I say I followed it, I gave myself like $60 to spend in the grocery store. If I gave myself $60, I would try to get it in cash, take $60 to the grocery store, and that's all I would spend. So because when you have cash, you tend not to pick up more things because it's embarrassing to get to the counter and run out of money or not have the money to pay for your groceries. When you have your card and you're like, oh, I set myself for a $50 limit, when you have your card and it comes up to, I don't know, 55 or 56, you're like, whatever, it's an extra $6. When you have cash, it's embarrassing to have to put something back. So it kind of like changes your mindset when you go into the store. You're like, I'm just gonna get what I need. So that's what I did. I tried to carry cash when I had to go like get gas or like pay for groceries or things like that. Every dollar had a place to go. It was a very detailed, I scheduled in like if I wanted to eat out with my friends, my gas, my bills, like miscellaneous money, if I wanted to buy a book, like it was very detailed. Another thing I did is I created a vision board for 2020, and of course it has like save money, be debt free on it, and I think that's so motivating because every time I walk past it, I'm looking at it and I'm reminding myself that, okay, this is your goal. And I think it's also important to like do it as your screensaver on your phone, so that way you're having your goals in front of you, and I feel like it helps me at least to be able to accomplish them a little bit more than if they weren't. Next thing I did was I told all of my family and friends because I knew they would hold me accountable, right? And accountability doesn't always look like, aren't you supposed to be debt free? But even my friends being like, hey, how's your journey going? I'm like, oh, let me tell you about it. Or, ooh, yeah, I spent a little bit of money today. So I think it's like, yeah, I told my mom, I told my dad, I told all my friends, everybody who's around me, everybody who came in my house on my vision board, I would explain to them my goal. And it just became a part of who I was, and people knew, and so they would ask and it would hold me accountable. I think that was really helpful. I started reading books about money. So one of my favorite books is You're a Badass at Making Money. This right here, you guys, so good. So this book really talks about like mastering the mindset of money. And I think that's so important because like as you're on a debt-free journey, like your mindset's gonna start changing a little bit, or it needs to change, because I feel like a lot of times we equate money to like evil. You'll hear a lot of times people say money is the root to all evil, but if you're gonna be rich, you really have to change that mindset, right? Because money, the truth is that money does a lot of good also, right? At the end of each chapter, she does like a money mantra. And I wanna share with you guys some of the things that I wrote answering her questions. So one of the things she basically said, I think in the first chapter, is like, she had you write down why you deserve money. So when I thought about why do I deserve money, I was like, I don't know why I deserve money. But I start writing like, I deserve money because I'm genuine, I'm smart, I'm hardworking, I'm raw, I'm level-headed, I'm capable, I'm centered, I'm purpose-seeking, God-seeking. Like, I just started listing all these things, and I was like, I can do this. Like, right, it really got me like amped up. Like, I could be debt-free. Like, I can make money. I could be a millionaire. I just gotta get this debt out the way. She really challenged you on things like your parents have told you about money. So like my mom has always told me like money doesn't grow on trees or like all money isn't good money and like things like that really like challenge your thinking and change your mindset, and that's so important. Dave Ramsey also has a book. It's called The Total Money Makeover. I actually ordered it. It's on its way now. I'll update you guys on how I like that. One of the things he really talks about is paying off debt is more behavior than it is math, right? So even though I had that credit card that was $6,500, I didn't start paying that one off first. It would make sense to me because it's like the highest one, but it's not about money, it's about behavior, right? So what I did is I paid the $450 one off first, because when you pay the $450 off, or the smallest amount that you owe, you're like, oh yeah, that felt good, next one. Next one, and like before you know it, you're like ready, you're like, come on, debt. And so basically that's what I did. I paid the whole $450 for PayPal. I paid the whole $2,284 Capital One card, and I paid off $2,600 off the USA card that was the $6,500. And then I paid $900 in student loans, and so that left me to a total of $6,234 that your girl paid off in 2.5 months. Due to the coronavirus, I am temporarily suspended from my job without pay, which is, you know, whatever. So I am grateful because I have less bills. I'm grateful that I started this journey sooner. I will be going back to paying off debt. I think I'm gonna share more videos like this more often and kind of break down with you guys exactly like how I'm doing this. My goal is to be debt-free in 20 months. And so, yeah, I'm like really amped up. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. One thing I wanna leave with is, I really want people to know it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, right? Anybody can save, anybody can be debt-free. Doesn't matter if you're getting paid $12, doesn't matter if you're getting paid $25 or $2.50 an hour, it doesn't matter. You can save money and you can be debt-free. I want to leave you guys with that. Anybody can do it. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Please comment below. I want questions, concerns, suggestions, like anything you guys can give me, any advice that I can give you. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to continuing sharing this journey with you guys. Until next time, you guys, love you.